Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and here's a positive piece from Tron Weekly. And it talks about the idea of, it actually cites it specifically, just endless Ripple the customers reporting success. And there's one example in the headline right here, which is brand new. Take a look at this. Ripple's cross-border emission continues to flourish as Indocent Bank gives it a boost. So I'm going to be running through that. I've also got a couple tweets from XRP community members I look forward to sharing with you. And then I'm going to wrap up this video with a piece unrelated to XRP, but interesting nonetheless. Take a look at this from Cointelegraph. Cameron Winklevoss. Buy Bitcoin to escape negative yield bonds. And this caught my attention in part because, funny enough, just unrelated to this before I knew this article existed, just earlier today when I was driving around, I was listening to XRP YouTubers, and then something popped up that caught my attention. It was more of a financial advice type of channel, just popped up, and it was about the concept of negative interest, which conceptually it's not like it's hard to understand, but it's still interesting to me nonetheless. Think about if there's a negative interest rate, then somebody's paying you to take on debt. You know, usually you take on debt and you have to pay interest on it. So anyway, whatever. But I'm going to be covering that in this video. Before we get going, though, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP, you done came to the right place. Congratulations on arriving here. Go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel if you love your mama. So we'll dive right into this first piece. Ripple has always committed to creating partnerships in the cross-border payment sector. And recently, Indocent Bank, a leading Indian bank and Ripple partner, spoke about the advantages of the tie-ups. Biswarbata Chakravorty, yeah, I definitely said that right. The chief investment officer, CIO, of the bank took to the stage at a recent economic forum where he addressed the plans for developing the cross-border world. In his words, quote, "As you all know, we had recently partnered with Ripple to take cross-border transactions to the next level and make it more seamless. A couple of large banks have already tied up with us and even conducted transactions. There are many benefits of building a product on the blockchain because it even enables the elevations of customer experience multifold." And, you know, I do want to say this before I read any further here. You know what's kind of fascinating to me with this whole rebranding of course, initially for years now, Ripple's been going to market with three product lines, or three products, maybe the best way to say. You've got X Current, you know, it's the payments and messaging, and then you've got, of course, there's X Via API plugins, and then you got X Rapid, which of course is on-demand liquidity. And so now all of that is just known as RippleNet, and it's fascinating to me. So the reason that they kind of parsed out those technologies is they really wanted that X Rapid cryptocurrency XRP part. They really wanted that separate so as to not sour the perception of potential customers, remittance companies, financial institutions, banks, and now things have progressed to the point where look at the RippleNet effect, if I can say that. The RippleNet effect is so strong with their hundreds of customers, and the network effect, seriously, it's increasing at an increasing pace. I think that's fair to say. And it's at a point where Ripple realized that it no longer is necessary at all to have these technologies purchased a la carte. And now, of course, when I say that, I'm talking, what I really mean is the way in which that they're being presented. Because, okay, if you're on with X Current, which is, again, just RippleNet now, there could be additional expenses, I would assume so, because the technology still is the technology. It's still X Rapid no matter what you call it. You would think there would be additional expenses associated with the setup and implementation, servicing of any account that's utilizing X Rapid and XRP for cross-border payments. But again, they feel that they're far along enough that saying, here's the platform, part of it can use cryptocurrency, and it's all still one thing. They realize that it's not really scary anymore. This is developed enough that it's not turning people off, but that's a complete turnaround from what they were doing before. And I just find it conceptually interesting anyway. But the piece continues here. The majority of Ripple's partners have revealed that they were successful in conducting transactions across countries and time zones, a task that was considered difficult by mainstream banks. Indocent is one of several native banks who have used Ripple's native technology to jump aboard the blockchain bandwagon. Chakravorty. Maybe that's not as hard as I was making it out to be. Chakravorty. I'm reasonably confident that's correct. So Chakravorty continued, quote, "The main advantages of operating on the blockchain are fundamental qualities like transparency and finding out the status of payments, etc. In a normal transaction, users have difficulty in finding out when their payments will get settled, a concern eliminated by the blockchain technology. Our initial idea was not a worldwide connection with banks, but just a general area of focus, but the partnership with Ripple has inherently managed to make it happen." Then the piece continues, "The Edison Bank official further added that the main expenditures are the costs that pertain to liquidity." Yeah, very costly. According to him, the main idea is to give visibility into the liquidity solution, and the backing of the Interledger protocol is an added help. Chakravorty also elucidated on the different options that customers now have when it comes to the types of transfers. And he said, quote, "Customers now have the option of choosing RTEG or NEFT payments, and they are settled in less than 2 minutes. That is something that the customer base is not used to right now, and we want to make sure that the choice is always given." So anyway, continued adoption here. Ripple is here to stay, like it or not, and if you're listening to this channel, I suspect that you like it. This is an XRP-centric channel for those that feel that they found something special, which is certainly what I felt when I found out about XRP in November of 2017, as I entered the world of crypto and researched dozens of coins, starting from market cap number 1 Bitcoin, and then I went dozens in, and I can't remember exactly where XRP was ranked in terms of market cap. They may have been 4th, maybe they were even 5th at one point around that time period. Regardless, though, so early on, I found when I was like, holy cow, this thing could actually be used. And at that point, XRapid was still in beta, but hey, nonetheless, I was like, I found one. Like, this makes sense. There's a real use case for this, and you can't solve the problem that this coin solves. You need to have a decentralized cryptocurrency, and you need to have developers building out to make this infrastructure happen. I was like, wow, there really is something to this. And of course, you go further and further and further down the list, and it's like, nope, nothing else makes sense. There are all these projects, and no sign of adoption anywhere. And why do you need a coin attached? Why do you need a native digital asset attached to whatever project it is that you have? And so it's just fascinating that Ripple is most certainly here to stay, and there is no other way to solve the problem that Ripple seeks to solve in terms specifically of settlement. Take a look at this next tweet here. This just kind of made me chuckle here. So there's a tweet from my fellow XRP YouTuber Alex Cobb. Tweeted out this picture of a yellow Lamborghini Gallardo, and then he wrote, "My favorite Lambo," to which Abe, who is at AGUIARAB on Twitter, responded, "My favorite Lambo is Moon Lambo." Thank you very much, good sir. Now, that's funny. I like your style. I like your sense of humor. And I wanted to give you a shout out because that made me laugh. Thank you very much, good sir. All right, next tweet here. Take a look at this. Frecky tagged me in this on Twitter. Frecky is at MaxXRPBTC. And it was a retweet of this, really. So this is from Bob Ross. And he was the CEO at Coinfield. And so I've covered the piece about SoloGenic. It was the mystery XRP ledger use case, shrouded in mystery. And they really, I gotta admit, they did a really good job drumming up interest in this because everyone's like, ooh, what is this? What is this mystery? And I covered it leading up to it. I mean, it was fascinating. I was wondering what the hell it was. But they said it was basically, I'm going to have to paraphrase, but the greatest or most transformative project having to do with the XRP ledger, something to that effect. I'm just paraphrasing, give me a break. But it was something to that effect, like it was that big of a deal. And so, and I covered it, so I'm not going to rehash the purpose of that, but I did find this interesting. So, Bob Ross, and understandably there's lots of questions around this project, but he tweeted this out. Feel free to ask all your questions in this thread to understand better how assets are being tokenized on the XRP ledger with the SoloGenic ecosystem. And so there's going to be, we'll be live on YouTube Friday, so that's tomorrow, October 18th at 3 p.m. PST. So once this is all, once this is complete, I'm going to compile some information, and I'm sure I'm going to want to make another video on this because I don't understand everything about this. I shared some opinions from XRP community members on this. Mostly people tend to think it's a positive thing. There was concerns cited about what this is going to do in terms of maxing out transactions per second on the XRP ledger. If it's dramatically adopted, would it be good for XRP, the XRP price? There are questions along those lines. And what I can tell you is, in case you missed it, David Schwartz did chime in on this, and he thinks it's good, not just for the XRP ledger, but he believes it should be good for XRP also, a net plus. But anyway, I'm not going to cover any more than that. I just wanted to let you know this was an interesting tweet, and there's going to be a video coming up on this. All right. Last piece in this video from Cointelegraph. Cameron Winklevoss, buy Bitcoin to escape negative yield bonds. Bitcoin bull and co-founder of Gemini crypto exchange Cameron Winklevoss has noted that the volume of negative interest bonds accounts for $17 trillion and has urged the public to buy Bitcoin. In an October 17th tweet, Winklevoss wrote, $17 trillion are currently held in negative interest bonds. 17 trillion reasons why you should own Bitcoin. And then the piece continues. In a series of comments to the tweet, one of the users argued that migrating this over to Bitcoin is a huge challenge, to which Winklevoss asked which challenges they are referring to, further stating that it takes less than 2 minutes to open an account on a crypto exchange. However, when the user asked how one can move negative debt to Bitcoin in that volume, Winklevoss did not respond. And then there's a subheading here, negative yielding bonds shake the industry. Earlier in October, Tone Vays, a veteran trader and Bitcoin expert, expressed a stance similar to Winklevoss, saying, as more and more developed nations try to eliminate cash and implement negative interest rates, this can drive many people into Bitcoin. In mid-August, Deutsche Bank reported that 27% of global bonds traded were negative yield at the time, so expected to pay out less than their initial cost. This represented $15 trillion worth of debt, or as VanEck digital asset director Gaber Gerbax commented, that was 75 times the total Bitcoin market cap. And then, quote, it's time for Plan B, Gerbax added. At the same time, the Bank of Japan said that central banks cannot use digital currencies to enforce negative interest rates. Masayoshi Amamiya, if I said that right, sounds like Mamma Mia. It's a me, a Mario. Deputy Governor of the Bank of Japan said that states issuing digital currency with a negative interest rate would force inhabitants towards cash. Amamiya. I think I'm saying that right. Amamiya, but it sounds like Mamma Mia. Anyway, argued, quote, to overcome the nominal zero lower bound, central banks would need to eliminate cash. Eliminating cash would make settlement infrastructure inconvenient for the public, so no central bank would do this. Which makes sense. And so the next video I'm going to make, it's going to be about how this name is pronounced. Is it Amamiya? Mamma Mia? It's going to be fun stuff. Yeah, I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. That's it for this video, though. Thank you so much for watching. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!